Namaskar, friends. My today's topic is going to be very, very interesting, specifically for those people who are actually thinking of buying a new home. Buying a new home is actually a cumbersome process. It is a tedious process, and at the same time, it is full of do's and don'ts and full of cautions. Because actually, when you are thinking of buying a home, either you are actually trying to buy the home by loan, or you're trying to buy the home with your own hard-earned money, hard-earned money. So when you are thinking of buying your home at your own, possibly, you may not be uh, you know, because of lack of awareness, you may not be able to understand, what are the do's and don'ts and which are the things you must keep note of it. So, for to help you, I have made a presentation, friends, which this presentation will help you understand, you know, gist of the do's and don'ts, checklist of all those things which you must be, keeping. So, let us understand. So, when you are thinking of buying a new home, you have to be very, very conscious. This home is basically one-time process, and you cannot redo the registry once. So there are must see before you give the token to your buyer from where you are actually buying, or an individual person from whom you are actually buying the home. So there are certain things which you should be keeping in consideration while thinking of buying the home. Before I get into the fraudulent alert or the checklist, let me tell you about few things and few facts that home buying is a process that can be one of sometimes stressful and sometimes full of lot of experiences and learning. So this may be true whether you have bought many homes or you're looking to buy your first home. That is absolutely true for all of you. So whether you are in the market, so there are many factors to consider and many decisions to make. Really crucial for you to have all the available resources necessary, well-informed decision. So together with the time required to make complete use of them. So that's also why you should enlist the help of a trusted realtor, because with expert consultation at each step of the. So what are the top questions before you think of buying a home? These are not the do's and don'ts, but these are such top questions which you should be asking to yourself to get into a right decision for buying the right house. Do I need? That's the first question you should be asking. If you really need a big house, you should think and plan for a big house. If you are thinking of a moderate house and you go for a big house, then it can be a trouble for you in terms of financial stress. So, what kind of house do I need? That is the second question you should be. Which is the right locality for me? What for in the neighborhood? How much do amenities matter to me? How much is the cost of the flat? And what are my lifestyle requirements? The last, what is the resale value of the flat? One by one, I'll try to explain how big a house do I need. So the size of house is actually based on individual needs. This depends on preference, number of individuals in the family, person, and so on and so forth. So once you decide the approximate size of the house, then you will have to translate that house in terms of build-up area, of super built-up area. Now, when you talk about build-up area, carpet area, and super built-up area, it varies accordingly. Carpet area actually is the real exact. So carpet area is simply 75% to 85% of super built-up area, which means what? That it means if the super built-up area is one, carpet area would be around 750 square feet to 850 square feet, which means carpet means the actual area of your flat, wherein you can put a carpet. That is how it is. The name carpet area has come. Means the whole space, the whole floor of your house where you can actually put a carpet, including your toilets and bathroom. So that is what is called as carpet area. That is the exact area of the flat. But why there is a buffering of 15 to 25%? Reason is very, very simple, because you have got a lot of other spaces which are outside the house but are being used by individual house owner or the multiple flat owners. That is why the concept of super market and builders are selling at this super area only. Yeah. So what kind of house do I need? That's a question. So there are so many choices, right from apartment, house, plot, builder's flat, service apartment, farmhouse, and so on and so forth. You will have to decide that what is the kind of requirement you have when it comes to buying a house, whether it is a flat, plot, house, individual house, builder flat, whatever it is. So the choice you make would depend upon your budget, locality, because what happens is if you have a choice of buying an individual house, then probably you may have to lose out good amount of money. And if you're thinking of buying a, I'm also finding it that if the house as well as a flat is in the same vicinity, then the house will be much costly as compared to flat, because flat is actually made on the basis of floors, whereas individually flat is made on the basis of the land wherein the construction is made. So what kind of house do I need? That's the most of question. So most people tend to prefer multi-story apartment due to the convenience they provide in terms of safety, community life, etc. Nowadays, the trend is that people would like to, stay in apartments because the kind of amenities the society provides to these, individual flat owners, apartment holder owners, is quite attractive by the people. That is why people prefer to stay in the apartments individual, because there are multiple good things about individual house, but at the same time there are multiple issues with the individual house. And when it comes to amenities, of course, apartments or society will provide you far higher amount of amenities compared to individual house. People prefer multiple story apartments rather than going for individual house when it comes to staying in the uh, in metros specifically. Yeah, because if you are thinking of staying in the village or a class C town or a B town, probably to stay in the flat. You would prefer to stay in an individual house. So that is a different kind of choice. It varies from location to location and city to city. So what is the right locality for me? That's the biggest question I have to ask. So most of the time, location is of prime importance while choosing a property. So what is that location you would like to prefer, and how much it is creating hole in your pocket? That also you will have to see. So there are mainly 2 points to consider while trying out locations. One, the most important point when you are thinking of buying a house is a price factor. The strategic placement of any property decides the pricing too, because if you try to buy a flat in a posh locality, probably the price is going. For example, if a property is in a prime location, then one can expect it to be at higher price than at a similar property in a non-priority zone. So that is something which you will have to see. So when you're thinking of buying a house, what is the right locality? That factor depends, because many times what happens from the perspective of overall convenience, but they see the convenience from the perspective of their own individual need. For example, if your office is nearby or the workplace is nearby, so you would like to stay near to your workplace, because in that case, convenience is something which will matter you most, because most of the time you will be spending either in your house or in your work. So you don't want to invest unnecessary time in your transit time. That is why people prefer to stay near to the workplace. Yeah. So the location should be within approved sanctioned master plan. What is the right locality? That is what you have to see. It has to have a approved sanctioned master plan. The location should have a good connectivity. It should have infrastructure services like power, water supply, drainage, and sewage, etc. Location should be within an attractive business sector such as educational institute, hospitals, IT park, entertainment hubs, etc. And location should be accessible easily from your work. So that is something which you have to give a due consideration while thinking of buying a new home. So the first one was price, second one is the convenience. And when it comes to price, it is related to the amount which you have. Yeah. But when it comes to convenience, it depends upon the location, which is as per the approval sanction plan or good connectivity, and as well as business activities, educational hubs, hospital, IT park, etc., must be there. And at the most important, last but not the least, is the location. It should be accessible to your workplace. Now, what do I look for in the neighborhood? What are the things you should be looking for in the neighborhood when you're thinking of buying a new home? Specifically, amenities. This includes local facilities like there should be a park, there should be a club, swimming pool, hobby classes, walking area. If it is there within the society, then nothing like that you must. Otherwise, if it is not there in the society and you would like to have these kind of amenities, then you should be focusing on the location which should be having these kind of facilities nearby. Shopping centers in the vicinity will make your life much more comfortable comfortable because very often, very on and off, you will have to go and buy a lot of things. So you should not be spending much time in your traveling. So preferably you should plan to buy a house near to a shopping center. So most of your day-to-day daily needs are being taken care. Yeah. Then it comes to transportation. What do you mean by transportation? This is a prime importance if you are going to use public transport like buses or trains, because if you don't have your own vehicle and you are going to use buses and trains as a public transport, then your transportation becomes a very, very important and crucial factor for you. Then probably you may be using that vehicle for yourself. They have to roam around for multiple things, then it will be difficult for them take care of their travel. So transportation is something which you should be taking care. Then it comes to school. If you have a good which has a good school, so that community commuting time is less for them, right? So commuting time is something which is so very very important when it comes to people who have got who children. So then it comes to road system. Good road systems are must for you to commute easily. That is very important. They stand less chances of waterlogging during rainy season because multiple, issues you can see in the internet and the news channels that there are lot of issues. There's a problem of drainage. There is no sewerage. So that is why once there is a rainy season, a lot of water accumulates on the roads, and sometimes it gets into the ground floor and the first floor. A recent example, you can take the example of Delhi, where where three IIT student aspirants expired because of the. Uh, so what to avoid in the neighborhood? Avoid location or a flat where you have nearby, bilkul, very very near restaurant. This may attract a lot of unwanted crowd and cause a lot of traffic problems. A house near to restaurants, whether they're popular restaurants with the traffic problem. And if you really want are foodie, then that can be that traffic problem will take the second back seat. But if you want to give a focus towards your commuting first food, then you will have to focus on buying a house, selecting a house which should have bit far away restaurants as in your nearby vicinity. Then train tracks in the beginning. Soon noise will be too much and disturb your regular routine, including your sleep. So prefer your house, buying a house which is far away from the train track, because there are multiple trains which are going on time, whether it is morning, evening, or night, midnight. Trains are going to run on the tracks, and of course it will cause a lot of disturbance for you if there are train tracks nearby a place where you want to buy a flat. Then it comes to airport. Airport is such a noisy place because the noise of a plane is so high. know, you will be absolutely tired. A huge amount of sometimes it starts giving vibration to the glasses of your windows. So that is something which you will have to take care. Then sometimes hospitals initially having a medical center in the vicinity may seem to be a good idea. Prepare to handle the middle of the night noises, because ambulance is going to run on the road very often. So the emergency alarm is going to be very high, can actually disturb you. So that also you will have to take. Sewage. Smelly sewage can be nightmare and cause diseases too. Most of the time, what happens is builders or a locality or society next to the sewage, which is very, very issues of flies and mosquitoes along with the stinky smell, actually a burden in the later part of your life. So sewage also you will have to take care. Then it comes to noisy neighborhood. This may be difficult to discern, but if you find out more about your neighborhood, it could be definitely your stay. More. It comes to how much do amenities matter to me. Many societies have their own amenities. If you're buying a flat in a multi-story apartment or a bungalow in a society, there are some common amenities that may be available. So you need to decide which are the important things for you as an amenity and are chargeable. What is the cost, right? So you will have to focus on amenities like common garden, child play area, basketball, tennis court, swimming pool, activity room, clubhouse, gymnasium, elders area, library, and all these kind of basic amenities and stuff like that. Then cafeteria, cinema hall, pipe gas supply in each apartment, because pipe gas is something which is very, very comfortable for you. Why? Because changing your cylinder every month or changing it, calling the agency and then calling the person who is actually bringing that cylinder is a very troublesome problem. Many a time, what happens is you are in a meeting and you get a call from a supplier, or all these kind of issues can arise. So once for all, if you want to take care of such kind of issues, you will not have to go for individual booking of the gas every month, and the burden of a cylinder replacing it and all those stuff. At the same time, keeping cylinder is very, very dangerous in the house. Preferably, you should be thinking of which has got a pipe gas supply in each apartment. So option to look out. Then you focus on auto door elevators and secured and gated community, jogging tracks, student pickup area. All these are amenities which will add to your decision. Then it comes to security system, landscape garden area, party lawn, essential shopping systems, ample visitor parking, basketball, decorative street lights, garbage, open area yoga, intercom system, entrance gate, internal cement, concrete road, compound wall, rainwater harvesting. All these things are very, very essential and important to look for when you're buying a home. Now the question is, how much is affordable for me? Because many a time what happens is I always would like to have a flat which is located in the best of the society, best of the locality, with best of the amenities. But the problem is how much it is cutting a hole in my pocket. That is also something which you have to give a due consideration. And even if you're thinking of buying the house from a loan, then also loan also you will have to take, because that eats away a lot of huge amount of your earning. So you will have to be very conscious when you decide that what is the kind of affordability parameter you have. So what is my price range? That is very, very important, and you must select the price range which should not give you discomfort, at least in your day to day living. You can cut down your home for what is your income size, home loan you're entitled to, what is the kind of home loan. Suppose you're thinking of buying a home of 3 crore rupees, but your entitlement is falling somewhere between 1 crore rupees. Then how will you buy? So that also you will have to take care. Then your income. Suppose your income is 2 lakh rupees a month and you are thinking of buying a home of 2 crore rupees. Then that will cause a lot of distress, because it will eat away the loan, or itself will eat away a lot of money from your other debts and loans. That also you will have to see, because if you have a car loan or you have got different kind of other loan, personal loan, then that will add to your burden. So that also is the real factor which should be considered. Yeah? When it comes to cash available for down payment, what is the kind of cash you have with you, maybe in the bank or available with you. So how much is the down payment you're giving? That is also very important. Monthly installments you can afford, because if you're buying if your salary is 2 lakh rupees a month, and suppose bank installment comes down somewhere between 1 lakh rupees, 50% of your earning goes into paying your home loan EMI. That will actually lead to compromise of your many luxuries, things which you wanting to have. That also you will have to take care. So monthly installment you can afford. You will have to see that out of my salary, what is the comfortable amount which you can pay, compromising basic day-to-day activities, as well as few things like you would like to travel abroad or travel within India with your family at least once or twice in a year. So all those calculations you will have to do, and then finally you will have to settle down at a monthly installment which you can actually easily afford. So that is very important for you. Then it comes to taxes. What are the kind of taxes which are going to be levied on you? It could be one-time payment at registration, counter stamp duty, and there are certain taxes which are applicable in the society, which are called as maintenance taxes, and then you will have property tax. All those things you will have to give a due consideration before you are thinking of buying the house, because that will actually add to your EMI and add to your. So then, what is the kind of interest which you are paying? For example, if you're taking the home loan and you're paying a higher interest, I don't suggest that you should be go for that, because 7, 8, 9% maximum is a good interest rate. But if it is beyond 8.5 and 9, one should actually think of either curtailing down the amount which you are trying to buy from the bank, or you should be actually cut down the cost of your flat and shift your choice to another area where the cost of the flat is little low. Sorry. Why? Because this interest actually eats away a lot of component out of our EMI. Because if you're paying 1 lakh rupees, so some amount will go as a principal deduction and some amount will go as a interest deduction. So even if you are paying 1 lakh rupees, maybe suppose 30,000 rupees is going for your principal reduction, 70,000 rupees interest you are paying on monthly basis, it is too high. Like I've given you example. For 1 crore rupees, if you have taken the loan for 9% or maybe 10%, let me take it as 10% to make the calculations easy. 1 crore rupees, you have taken a loan at a rate of 10%, which means what? You will have to shed off 10 lakh rupees yearly as an interest component on this. If your EMI itself is suppose 1 lakh rupees, so 12 lakh rupees you are paying, which means what? 10 lakh rupees is eating, your interest only is eating. Only 2 lakh is removing from the interest component. So that also is very, very important factor for you. So interest on the bank is very important when it comes to selecting the home and the bank. So what are my lifestyle requirements? That also you will have to give a due consideration. How many rooms do I require? Maybe separate room for your children, for your parents, study room, puja room, guest room, servant quarter. All these things you will have to see, and accordingly you will have to plan buying the house. So what is the does matter, as, as in the long run you may want to sell it and move to different place, or you want to upgrade the flat from 3 BHK to 4 BHK or 1 BHK to 2 BHK. So for those who are buying with investment on their minds, this is a decisive factor, some factor that decide your home resale value. Or resale value depends upon the layout of the house, apartment, amenities of the neighborhood. These things actually contribute towards the resale. So let me directly jump to Home Sweet Home. Of course, very good stuff. It sounds very good. It is actually a dream for me, you, and everyone. And but it needs to be a, it need not be a dream, because nowadays most of the home financial companies and the banks are offering you, interest, very low interest rate on home loans, and they are actually attracting you and luring you to buy, either first flat or a second investment flat or a third investment flat. So that is something which is very, very important. Now comes to how much you should be paying for your property. So budget plays an important. Shell out more money for down payment. First of all, down payment, how much down payment you can give, then what is your monthly installment, how much is the interest rate, what are the taxes going to be there, what is the insurance, all these things you will have to keep in consideration. Now, budget factor. So value of your existing property which you plan to sell or buy, it absolutely depends upon your budget factor. So available cash, short-term investment, or for purchase of property, home loan limit you have based on your credit. So home loan may differ in a bungalow and a flat. So clearly clarify what you want to consider. So what are the do's and don'ts you will have to consider? First, do get clarity on the time and the funds you are expected to have available. Number one. Number two, consider the budget for interior work on renovation, because it is not only the of the flat. Sometimes what happens is you get into the deal with the buyer seller, like for 1 crore rupees you will buy. My dear friend, for 1 crore rupees you will 100% buy. But for the stamp duty, what about the registration charges? What are, and on top of that, if you have to go for renovation, what is the amount they are going to invest? So it will total up to at least 15 to 20% from my perspective on average, which means it will shed away 20 more lakh rupees. 1 crore rupees which you will have to take out from your pocket, but it is going to be 1.2 crore rupees to be invested, and in overall buying and renovation. So ensure that you can pay the EMI of the home loan first or not. What are the invest all of your money in home? That is very, very important. Because if you invest your liquid money buying the home by giving the down payment, and you will be left with nothing, and by any chance, any means, if there is a medical emergency, any emergency, you may not be able to, immediately take care of that immediately. So don't invest more than you require. And never sell bedrooms of your home in case you need them. Okay, so don't wait. You cannot sell one room of your home out of 3 BHK. You are thinking that one room I can sell. No, you cannot do that. So you will always have to focus that you keep some amount as a saving. It can be required at any point of time. And you really don't know anything. So you will have to keep in consideration. You will have to expect any kind of emergency while buying the house, so that you should have some amount of good amount with you in your bank, so that you should be able to take care of that immediate requirement. Yeah. So don't wait till the last minute. So how do you go about searching for the most important aspect of buying a home is to search for as many options. Steps for searching maximum options. What are the steps to be taking care to search for a good quality home, you should always either a contract broker in those areas which are interested, maybe a professional deal with reference brokers only. So you should always go for a proper registered, that is the one who has got expertise as well as experience and legal rights to get associated with you as a broker. Okay, so these brokers are also given registration numbers. So you should not be going unprofessional, unregistered broker. Otherwise, you will land into problems. Then how do you go for searching for the maximum options? You can search for online. There are multiple sites like 99 Acre, Magic Bricks, Google, all those portals you can search for home loan. I mean, sorry, home or a flat, which is a very easy way. But that online search is very, very, you have to be very cautious while doing such kind of search, because you must be aware of a lot of fraudulent activities which are going on, and you have to actually be doubly sure before you pay your token money to the person. There are do's and don'ts in the checklist. I will tell you in the next part of the slide. What are the checklists you must see and you must note before you actually give the token to the individual. So you can even scan in the qualified classified newspaper week and many properties which match criteria. You can see that individually by going to the locality. So what are the options which are like for you to evaluate? So once you have a list of options available to you, evaluation based on what you need rather than what is available. What is your requirement? You should be focusing on that, not on what is available. So there may be a feature available in the property for which you no need, but indirectly you are paying. For example, swimming. So, well, like for example, you have got your father and mother only who are senior citizens, and you are very much tied up in your work that you don't have time for using all these amenities. If these are there in your locality, probably nothing comes free. Of course, nobody is going to give you these amenities free. It will add to your maintenance, and at the same time, when you're buying the flat, it will already add to the cost you are paying for the flat. So you have to see that the amenities which are there in the locality, are you actually going to use those amenities or not? If you are not sure about using those amenities, rather you should go for a locality where your basic requirements are less amount of food in your pocket, and you can actually buy an economical home with the same size in that particular area. So you have to be very cautious that the amenities and the facilities which are being provided by the builder, are you actually going to use those facilities, or is just for namesake? It is for you to post to your family members or relatives that I live in such an area. That is good for posting, but that is not good for your home loan. That is not good for your pocket. That is not going good for your down payment. So you will have to see your requirement whether it is being matched by buying the flat or not. So what is the age of the people? Uh, what is the age of the people living in the flat? If they are old, you might want to choose a flat that is on the ground floor. So if you have got elderly citizen in your home, then you must think of buying a home which is just at the first floor or second. Because in case of electric cut, though it is very rare, but even if there's a possibility of electric cut, or even if electricity is there but lifts are not working, in that case, how will you reach to the 28th floor? How will you reach to the 15th floor? So that is going to be very, very difficult for senior citizens. So you will have to think of senior citizens and the parents that you should be buying a home either in the first floor or first floor or a second floor. That is also one of the due consideration you should be giving. So if the flat is on the high floor and if there is a lift service available in the waiting or not, suppose if you have a building of 6 floors, if, not going to the 6th floor itself is a big task for senior citizens. There is, I think, drop off your idea of buying a flat in that particular building if you are getting it in the fifth or sixth floor. But if you are getting in the first or second floor, irrespective of whether the building is 20-story building or a 50-story building or a 5-story building, that will not matter for you, because anyhow you're buying the flat in the first floor or the second. So if you choose a flat on the first or ground floor, you must consider the possibility of waterlogging as well. It should not happen that from the perspective of only lift and electricity, and from the perspective of your parents, you are thinking of buying the whole flat at the ground floor or the first floor. But if there is a problem of waterlogging, then in case of a rainy season, it will be a huge problem for you. So that also the most important thing which should be given due consideration. So, how are the flats in the society arranged? That also is very, very important. Is there look into your house? That also you will have to say, because everybody would like to have their individual privacy. Nobody would like that anybody should peep into your flat or your bedroom or anywhere. So always look for your flat which has got some good quantum of privacy. So when people are talking in the flat next to your, can you hear it in your flat? This that your conversations too will not be private, which means if you have a next door flat, you will have to see that if somebody is talking and adjacent to you, and if you're able to hear that, I think avoid that kind of flat. It's very simple because when you're talking to family and somebody else is overhearing what you're saying. So in that case, I believe that that decision is not a good decision to buy the flat in that area. That also you will have to see. And what is the most important consideration? There are a few other factors. How are the windows of the flat arranged? Does enough sunlight come into the house? Is it airy or not? So what are the amenities in the society which is being provided? Are there too many corridors in the apartment? You will be paying on the basis of super multiple. Always remember, if there are a lot of corridors in the, you are actually paying for those corridors as well. So always see that you should not be uh, going for a congested corridor, but necessary, made by the very important. So ideally, it should be at least one common toilet so that the visitor do not have to enter your bedroom to your or to your bathroom. In your flat, which you are buying, have two toilets, because one you would be needing for your own privacy and one for the common for the visitors or your relatives who is coming in the morning and going later part of the evening. So for you should be having that common toilet in that particular flat. Then it comes to the kitchen dining entrance should be close to each other. This ensures easy serving of food to the guest. It should not happen. Your dining room is far away from the kitchen, and entrance is just next to the kitchen. Such kind of things you will have to see as per your need and as per your liking. Ideally, design should be made which should certain volume between all these areas. Check for seepage problem also. If there is a seepage problem, then you should not buy that flat, because that problem in long term will cause a lot of smell and fungus all across all your home, and then you will have a lot of issues in terms of your health as well. So check the height of the railing, distance between each railing, etc. For safety of children's, what is the kind of railing you have in the windows, so that everything you will have to cross check so that your children are safe, seniors are safe. Try to draw the furniture on the ground and see how much space is left free. Is the house too cluttered? So that also you will have to see. Then quality and design for new construction. What is the kind of quality and design? So let the following points guide you. One, you need to check up on the architect of the construction. Visit other projects. You must ask for a performance guarantee clause, or at least a structural liability clause in the sale agreement. Because what happens is every seller is specifically builders. They say we have used best of the material, we have used good amount of cement in it. Not they have used everything. That is what the end of the day, within 5 to 7 years, we see a lot of breakages in the wall, pillars, and other areas. So that's performance guarantee certificate or structural liability certificate. If it is there, it is good. But if it is not there, then you should have a structural liability or a performance guarantee written in your sale agreement, so that in case of any kind of issue which is caused to your flat thereafter the purchase of the flat, then you should not get into any monetary loss. That loss has to be borne by the seller. This is also very, very important. This will ensure that the builder remains liable for any defect in the bidding for at least 1 to 3 years from the day he hand over the possession to you. That also you will have to put it into sale agreement. My dear builder, you please put it in the sale agreement that at least for 3 to 5 years, I will not have to incur any kind of construction related, work. If it is additional, that I will take care. But if it is on the existing construction, if there is a problem, then you are entitled or you are liable to pay the and bear the whole cost. That if you can keep registered, I think nothing. That's the wise decision. Now, Falling points guide you. Check the dimensions of your bedroom. Sometimes there is no space in the bedroom to move after a normal double bed is placed inside the room. So that also you will have to see. You may see how you will place TV in the room which you wish to enjoy with family. That also you will have to see. Some people believe in Vastu compliance. So it is very, very advisable to ensure that the house is according to the Vastu, which may help you even exit your house because sometimes who require Vastu compliance will ask you whether it is in the compliance of Vastu or not. If it is Vastu compliant, that is actually icing on the cake because most of the people they prefer to have buy a house which is as per the Vastu compliance, right? So what is a super built area? Let us understand that. What is a built up area and what is a carpet area? Built up area is the carpet area plus the thickness of outer wall and the back. I'm repeating. Build up area is the carpet area. Carpet area means within the area which is there inside the house. The complete area which is there in the house, including your toilets, kitchen, everything. ठीक है? And what is the build up area? The carpet area plus the thickness of your outer wall and the balcony. That is the built up area. Because if you see the thickness of your outer wall, sometimes builder go for a single brick, wall, but sometimes they go for a double brick wall. But when you combine the complete double brick construction, it takes away a lot of area. It will add to a lot of built up area. That is also you have to take in consideration. Then the balcony, that is also going to be a part of it. Carpet area is actually the area enclosed within the walls, actual area to lay the carpet, right? If you want to lay the carpet, the complete carpet should fit into that. That is called as carpet area. This area does not include the thickness of the inner wall. It is the actual used area by an apartment or office or for a home, etc. That is carpet. Then let us understand what is built-up area. Built-up area is actually the area plus proportionate area of common areas such as lobby, lift, shaft, stairs, etc. So this includes the additional, areas which are not there as a part of your flat but are a part of your building. It could be a lobby, it could be a lift, it could be stairs. Everything will be divided depending upon the number of flats. So that is what it is. Okay. So the plinth area along with the share of all common area proportionately divided among all the unit holders make up the build-up area. That is how the build-up area is calculated. Sometimes it may also include the common area such as what happens is there are certain common areas included by the builder like swimming pool, garden, clubhouse, etc. This term is therefore only applicable in case of a multi-dwelling units. What happens is sometimes builder puts a lot of cost to the these kind of amenities which he is providing. But you are actually buying a flat, but the amenities are for who? Then definitely you will have to pay off share of money for using those kind of amenities. So that is why builder adds those kind of areas into your carpet area, and thereby that is how he charges put a charge for you. Then what is very important for you to see the title clearance. What do you mean by title clearance? My dear friends, clear title of the property, and you must have heard about a lot of issues in the real sector, specifically in NCA next to Delhi, where builders have got into problem. They have actually, rather, buyers have got into problem because they have not checked the complete title and all those stuff, and that is how they have either someone, few people have actually invested, few people are first time buyer, they have put in their hard earned money, and unfortunately, they are stuck in that property for years together because of the issue with the title. So, what do you mean by title of the property and why it has to be very clear? So, let us understand. Free and clear title of the property implies clean ownership of seller, which can be transferred to the purchase, which means it should have a clean ownership of that particular area, that particular land. So it is a transfer without any incumbents. Incumbents is basically any kind of issue, dispute that or charge or lien. It is generally used to refer for a property free of mortgage, debt, or any other condition applicable for the transfer. Like for example, if the builder has taken a loan mortgage on the land over which the construction of the buildings or amenities have been done, see that whether it is cleared by the bank or not. So title clearance is something which is very, very important and the first criteria for you to check when it comes to purchasing. You go to the builder, you must have the clearance of the title. That is also the when it, document, right? So, in order to obtain a clear title, it is usually necessary to have a title search performed by an advocate solicitation for any legal person with the verification of last 30 years of transactions, if any, for the said property. Which means you will have to builder, and if he is not providing you, you can take the your revenue office where you can contact them. The advocate or the solicitor will give you help in terms of verification of the last 30 years record of transactions on that particular property. So the basic purpose of title search is to verify the ownership, authority, and capacity of the seller. Right, executed in last 30 years, that will be checked, and if any are to be verified with government records, that is revenue record, property tax record, government, they will cross verify and then they will give you a clearance record. The buyer is issued by the legal person, and to verify subjective terms or any legal dispute is stated in such clear title certificate. You may not be able to understand many legal terms, so you should always take the help of a lawyer whom you are actually hiring for the purchase of your flat, because of maybe 5 to 6 thousand bucks you have to shed away from your pocket, but that is actually very important for you to get clarity that the property which you're buying is clear or not. So you must take the help of a legal advisor who will definitely charge you for giving his advice, but at the same time the charge is wise, and that charge is actually going to help you nullifying the possibility of any kind of dispute in the future. Any person who acquires any ownership right without the titles, then such person has to be verified the ownership, and the procedure of that allotment should be compiled under the local act of the Companies Act. So, if the share certificate is issued under Indian Companies Act with occupancy rights of premises, then in such case, compliance with the Indian Companies Act is necessary. The ownership of the society can be verified on a single basis, as stated. Now, what are the basic documents to be verified? My dear friend, this is the most important step. Number one, owner's name in the property. The one who is selling the property card or not, property deal or the registry of that land or not. If it is there, then it is you should go for buying. Otherwise, if it is not there, then you should have to cross verify with the and you have to decide. Then what is very important is chain document with owner's name in the property. Chain document is basically the documents which shows the ownership right of different owners before the existing owner. How many owners before this owner of the land or they who have actually got into the transaction, sell and proceed and purchase agreement. So that chain documentation with the owner name in the property card has to be there, right? Then it comes to 7 by 12 extract. This is one of the documentation. Then very important, mutation entry record of 50 years. Which means what? What is mutation? Mutation is basically an entry of your land revenue department that this is the land which belongs to this particular state, and you should have the complete quotation entry record for the 30 last years, so that you should be able to see track whether there's an issue which is going on in the past, which was going on in the past or not. So owner's name in the approved plan, IODCC, is a clearance certificate, of these things, tax payment received as property tax. If that property falls into municipal area or into area which is being which is actually a tax proper which has got the applicability of property tax, whether that builder has paid the property taxes on the time in the past or not. You must see at least the last 3 years of tax payment, property tax payment by that purchase that seller. If any document is executed by the POA holder, then the registered POA document should be inserted. Then it comes to developer's track record. If you are thinking of buying a flat, then you must go for the track record of the developer, because the track record of the developer will help you, buying the right, taking the right decision of buying the flat. The track record of the real estate developer is a measure of their past track record in executing real estate projects and their organization and financial risk profiles. What happens, my dear friends? Sometimes we always somebody has told us that there's a construction which is going on with very good amenities and all those stuff, and depending upon that kind of rumors and suggestions from our friends and family, we become so so used to that particular property that without looking at the practical record of the developer, we get into the agreement. That you should be avoid. It is not a rating of developers' credit quality. Developers' track record is in line with the reference to their track record of legal compliance, right? Type of project undertaken, adherence to the construction schedules, quality of construction in executed project, those projects which you have seen. One more, just to cross verify the authenticity of the developer, always ask him what are the other, cross verify what are the other societies he has made. You must go and visit those societies before you plan to buy that flat in this same society. Reason why it is required? Because that will give you the complete track record of that particular builder, that whether he uses good quality product, what is the kind of his confidentiality in terms of getting into agreement, and what are the kind of construction quality material he has used in the existing projects. So all those things you will have to give a due consideration, because that will give you the track record of the developer who has actually developed that building in the society. So that is also very important. So one should prefer such a developer realistic projects as per the specified quality level, and transferring clear title within stipulated time schedule is excellent. You will have to the cross verification whether the particular standards in terms of transferring clear title with the stipulated or not. The developer comply with all the amenities stated in the literature and convey the property in favor of the society within 6 months of the possession must be given. It is important, my dear friends, in the brochure which they will be giving, they will write a lot of things. So you will have to cross verify whether all those things which are specified in the brochure, whether it is there or not. So whether he is complying with the amenities which are stated in the literature, which he has given to you or not. And one more thing, the property in favor of conveying the property in favor of the society within 6 months of possession must be the first preference. That is something which you have to negotiate with the builder. Then terms and conditions of sale. Go for sale agreement. Legal sale agreement is a contract between both buyer and the seller. This document stipulates the requirement of disclosure by the developer under NEWHOME or under the local act. Local act. So if it is your state matches and state of the state, then it comes to terms and conditions of sale agreement. Now it covers all the conditions of this agreement, like the technical details, revenue record, ownership record, consideration, terms of payment, interest payment or default, conditions for termination or cancellation of for sale agreement. Sale agreement, when I told you that sale agreement is basically an agreement contract between you and the buyer and the seller. Real estate sale. So then that sale agreement must cover all these things. Why I'm saying is, if you are in the process of buying a house, you are in the process of making a sale agreement, then you must look into the records of that particular property, ownership record, consultation, terms of the payments, interest payment. Many times what happens is, suppose you have applied for a loan. I just would take one more example. And you have given a token, suppose you're buying a house of 1 crore rupees, and he has asked you for 10%. You have given 10 lakh rupees to you. And at the same time, you have applied for the loan. For example, by any chance, suppose you don't get that kind of 90 lakh loan, or your loan is not sanctioned, what will happen in that 10 lakh rupees? That also you will have to get it in the sale agreement, that in case of non-approval of the loan from the bank, or the specified amount is not approved by the bank, then the seller, he will give me my money 100% back within that particular. Otherwise, my dear friends, you will be in soup, you will be in trouble, because that builder will tell you that nothing doing, I can't do anything because you have paid the token to me, and whether you get the money from the bank or you get the money from anywhere, you will have to ensure that you arrange it as part of the money, and then you will be in problem if you are not in a situation to arrange, and you cannot fight also against that, because sale agreement is a powerful document. Document that it has got a legal implications as well. So even if you file a case against the seller, that money. But if the point is not there in the sale agreement, then the verdict will go in the favor of the seller, and you will have to lose the 10 lakh rupees. That is also very, very important. So terms and conditions of sale agreement are absolutely crucial for you to understand that you must focus on each and every setback. always prepare a sale agreement as per the comfort of the buyer, because seller will always go away. Buyer is somebody who is actually taking out the money and arranging for the money. So possibility get into trouble is higher. For seller it is not that high. So terms and condition for sale agreement is very important. Whenever you are getting into sale agreement, always ensure that whatever is being written as a part of the agreement is being duly clarified by you, your family, and as your lawyer. Because sometimes what happens is many conditions are there which are not aware to a layman person like you, me, and everything others. But a legal person will always help you understand the complications, the you know the further consequences of that particular lead. Uh, what do you say? That is called as repercussions. Yeah. So it contains the various deposits required to be made by the purchaser and also the date of possession. Then you will have to also specify in the sale agreement that when the person is going to hand over the flat, CC certificate, transfer certificate, approval under any other local law such as Development Control Authority, town and country planning, all these things. One more, which is very, very important, my dear friend. What happens is there are many people who are selling the flat, but approval is not there on the map. So if there is no approval on the map, you will get problem while applying for electric and water connection. Because if your map is not approved by the town and country planning, you will not be able to get domestic, I'm talking about domestic electric and water connection. Might be temporary connection they will give because it's a human right. It comes into human right. But in that case, you have to shut off three times the money which a domestic connection is selling, shedding. Which means, like for example, if an electric connection, electric bill for a domestic connection is 1,000 rupees, but for a temporary connection, it is 3,000 rupees. It is average three times higher than the domestic connection. So that is also which you have to see that whether the if the area into town and country planning and whether the map of that particular land or that particular building is approved by the town and country planning or not. Because what happens is you see or you always see the construction of the don't see that construction of the flat. It could be illegal also. So you should be relying on the documentation only. So that is why if you can go and cross verify the property number and details of the Jamabandi in the town and country planning, whether that has constructed under the approval of town and country planning or not. So you must cross verify from the legal person who is into this, or you go to the specified office he has got approval from that particular regional authority or not. Otherwise, what will happen is you will be in problem. Many a time what happens is the seller will tell you that no problem, if you're not having regional town and country planning approval, I will give you electricity, water which is already installed, that to domestic. You may go for that. That is your individual choice. And for you, when you resell that particular flat, then go for transferring the electric and water connection to the purchaser, and the same thing which you have experienced. I mean, that the new purchaser will be experiencing. So always go for buying a flat or a land which is approved by the regional authorities, so that you should not get any kind of notice thereafter flat, or once you purchase the land, then there could be some which comes from the town and country planning, which probably it will take you into problems. So the person who is doing the booking of the home under construction should take care about the terms and conditions stated in the agreement also. The real estate sale agreement is considered valid once both parties affix their respective signatures. This agreement gets into application once both the parties have signed the documentation, and it is recommended to get the document registered before the joint sub-registrar of assurance of the local area where the property is situated. So then you will have to go for a sale agreement, which has to be registered from the sub-registrar or the tehsil area concerned. Yeah. Then what do you mean by there are certain questions which expenses which are additional to the amount which you are giving to the seller. What is that? That is stamp duty. Now, what do you mean by stamp duty? It is a tax which is similar to sales tax and income tax collected by the government and must be paid in full and one time. If there is delay in the payment, it attracts stamp duty. Stamp duty paid installment paid instrument document is considered a proper and legal instrument document, and such gets evident value and is admitted as a evidence in the court. So instrument document, not property stamps, are not admitted as evident by the court. which means if you have got into power of attorney, because if you sell any property on the basis of power of attorney, you need not to pay for stamp duty. And people actually prefer this. Some people prefer this for an illegal construction, because one, they will not have to go for a registrar office. Two, they will not have to pay any kind of taxes. Three, they can waive off the as well. But that is very risky. Why? Because the power of attorney is not going to fetch that kind of confidentiality, that kind of legal proof for you to for you to support in case if you get into any litigation with the seller. So that is very important for you. So there are instrument documents which are property stamps are not admitted by the authorities if it is not if you have not paid the stamp duty. So to me, paying the stamp duty will re-endorse and re-support you as a purchaser that the documentation is absolutely okay and you have paid stamp duty. So when the stamp duty, when it is payable before execution of the document, or on the day of execution of the document, or on the next day, working day of the execution. When you are going for a registration, you will have to be before the registration, the registrar or the tahsildar will ask you about the stamp duty. It has to be a part of that agreement. Otherwise, registrar or tahsildar will not allow you to get into registration. So how nowadays banks are not permitting franking or executed document. The execution of the document means putting signature on the instrument by the person's party to the document. Any instrument executed outside the state is liable to duty only receipt of such instrument, which means what? When you have paid the stamp duty, now how you can pay the stamp duty? For you to pay the stamp duty, what you have to do is you will have to first contact your lawyer who is actually making that agreement. He will give you a paper of agreement for sale and a paper which is executed through his end. That paper you will have to take along along with the other documentation to a bank who is actually approved by the government for getting this. Like for example, there are certain banks like State Bank of India or Punjab National Bank who are approved by government of India for collecting the stamp duty. So you will have to ask your lawyer to give you the documentation of the sale agreement, so that whatever is the applicable stamp duty, he will specify that applicable stamp duty in the desired document, and he will hand over the document to you. Either he can accompany himself, or he will tell you to go and pay the stamp duty and at the desired PSU bank. Like once you have got that stamp duty amount specified by the lawyer, you will go with that required documents to the bank, and then you will pay the stamp duty from your side for purchasing that building, I mean flat. So is stamp duty payable on all instrument documents relating to the transfer of property? That is a question which is very important. The stamp duty is attracted on all the documents within transfer of the property which has taken place, except transfer by will. When you go for will or by original nomination in cooperative housing society, all transfer instruments documents, including number one. When you pay that, you will have to arrange the agreement, conveyance deed, gift deed, mortgage deed, exchange deed of partition, power of attorney, deed and license agreement, agreement of tenancy, and these deeds have to be properly stamped before registration. So all these have to be properly ensured. However, there is a different rate slab of duty depending upon type of document. My dear friends, I'll give example of stamp duty rates in Himachal Pradesh. I don't know about other states. In Himachal Pradesh, if an individual is a male, he's buying a residential property, then he will have to go for, 7% of stamp duty and registration. But if it is male, female, maybe husband or wife or a partner, then they will have, if it is male and female, both, then they will have to shed off 6% of their stamp duty. I mean, 6% of their sale deed as a stamp duty and registration charges. And if it's a female, then current rate is 5% only. So 5% of your sale deed has to be paid as a stamp duty and registration. It is clear. Now, when I say stamp duty and registration, stamp duty you have given it to the government as a tax, and registration is you have given to the registrar for the registry of the property. These are two. Now, 5% include both stamp duty as well as registration, which means if you are buying a 1 crore property, 5% for a female, it is 5% will be stamp duty and registration, which doesn't stamp duty is 5%. No, 5% is actually the combination of stamp duty and registration. So that is very important. Verified that when a nominee transfer the flat subsequently in the name of the legal hire, then that transfer instrument is to be stamped as per the rate applicable to the renounced date. If other legal hires are not claiming any right and interest in such properties. Then how to go for registration. So when buying or selling a property, it is optional to register the documents. However, it has certain advantage. It ensures legal transfer and ownership of the property. Registration acts as a proof of transaction. Where- What he is saying is you must go for registering your property rather than getting into power of attorney or any other legal support supporting document that has got a very legal implications. Reason is very simple, because for registration you have paid the registration charges, stamp duty charges, and you have cross verified all the document, and you have actually met the all basic minimum requisites which are required by the registrar office, which include in case of Himachal, which includes Himachali bona fide certificate as well as agriculture certificate. So these are the things which are basic minimum documentation which are required when you go for registration. Otherwise, for power of attorney, nothing is required. You will have to just go for a purchase of the stamp paper, write the complete terms and condition, then go for a notary, and then it is done. So it has got no legal value also. It is just the understanding document between a seller and a purchaser. So in case of any issues, power of attorney will not give you much support as a documentation, but registration will give you a huge support. So what is registration of property document? Registration is the process of recording a copy of document, transferring in immovable property to the office of the registrar. That's number one. Number two, registration acts as a proof that is a transaction, whether the transaction has taken place or not. The registration of a document serves as a notice of transaction to the person affected by the transaction. Registration also serves as an implied notice to any person subsequently acquiring interest in the property covered by the registered document. Registration is done after the parties execute the document. An agreement should be registered with the sub-registrar of the assurance under the provision of the Indian Registration, that is 1908, within 4 months of the date of execution of the documentation. That is very important. So what are the papers at the time of registration of the document? Now, here, a document should be adequately stamped as per the stamp duty ready reckoner so as to been paid. That is number one. The stamp duty ready reckoner is a public document and is available for inspection at sub-registrar office. The registering documentation of the property, one should go for the respective registration office along with the original documentation and one photocopy of all the documentation. The documentation must be printed or typed on one side only and in a black color. A photocopy should be taken in only one side of the paper, and the paper should be 90 GSM thickness. There should be butter paper between the two sheets of the. Your apartment is provided with all amenities, size of the room as per approved plan, and you have checked all the other specification of your apartment. It is the time for you to take the possession of. While taking possession of the flat or home, ensure that you have documentation from the builder. Possession letter is the most important certificate. I'm repeating, possession letter is the most important certificate. Blueprint, NOC is also the second most. DT, development certificate. DC is the development certificate. Commencement certificate, which is called as CC, that is commencement certificate. Search report of the builder's advocate, receipt of the payment made by the builder, letter of etc. etc. All these documentation you must have in hand to take the possession of the. And there are these are the most important documents which one should have as a proof of the ownership of the immovable. Otherwise, if you don't have a CC or a OC or a, what you call letter of allotment or possession certificate, NOC, even if you miss one, you may land into trouble. Now, what do you mean by conveyance of the property? What is conveyance deed? A conveyance deed is a document that convey the title of the ownership of a property from the original owner to the ultimate purchaser. All the flat owners must obtain conveyance deed for their structure to become the true owner of the entire structure and land attached to it. See, such a great stuff. Because what happens is, if you don't get the conveyance deed with you, probably that land. Because once you purchase the flat, doesn't mean that you are not the owner of the land. You are equal owner of the same land where the construction is made. Like for example, in a society, the area is 100, maybe in square feet. I take it like 10,000 square feet is the area of the society, 10,000 square feet, right? And there is only one building, and in that one building there are 100 flats. So 1,000, so 10,000 divided by 100 is like 100 square feet land right will belong to you. So you will be the owner of that 100 square feet land. I am not saying that individual land, but you will be the owner of that land as well, a part of that. That is called as conveyance deed. Conveyance deed is basically a document that conveys the title of ownership of the property from the original owner to the ultimate purchaser. All the flat owners must obtain conveyance deed for their structure to become true owners of the entire certificate structure and land attached. So what is the objection behind obtaining a conveyance deed? What is that objection? The first objection and the foremost objection is to become the legal entire property. Obtaining free and marketable title of the property is the most important objective. When a particular person or society has paid ads in the possession of the property, but the title document are in the name of the original owner, the purchaser does not have a free and marketable title of the said property. See, such a great thing. If you don't get the conveyance deed, what it means? When a particular person or society has paid full consideration and is in possession of the property, but this document are in the name of owner only. This conveyance deed is the original owner only. The purchaser does not have a free and marketable title of the said property. Very, very important. So conveyance deed is so very important for the society members to get it from the builder. Otherwise, builder can claim any he can claim the land right of that particular area where you are residing. Then you will be in problem. So it is only after executing the conveyance and recording the same with the revenue authority that the buyer derives free and marketable title of the property. So what are the advantages of the conveyance? Conveyance gives the property title. Proper title help in retaining additional FSI, if any, makes the property free and marketable, helps in raising loan of mortgage, helps in obtaining permission for the reconstruction and permission to construct additional floor by the TRD enables in receiving compensation of the development. That is what it is. Now, property buying frequently asked questions. What? First, what are all the important documents one should check before buying any flat? So, if you want to purchase a property, you have to look at the approved layout plan. Number one, approved layout plan. Number two, approved building plan. Number three, ownership document. Number four, allotment document. Number five, commons certificate. Number six, occupation certificate. Number seven, NOC, no objection certificate from the builder of the society, and carry out physical inspection of the property, which means what is the first document? First document is approved layout plan. Layout plan, that particular area where your society is made. Approved layout plan by the proper registrar. Approved building plan. On that layout, is there any is the building as per the approved plan, constructed building is as per the approved plan or not? Then ownership document. That building, that particular, layout is the one who is selling is the actual owner of the layout or not? Allotment letter, commence certificate, occupation certificate, uh, and no objection certificate from the builder of the society that you will have to put as the first prime important checklist. Then check that previous dues such as property tax, society, water and electrical bills, telephone bill, or any other bill, whether it has been paid or cleared at the time of the sale. On the date of the sale, on or before the date of the sale, all the bills which are applicable to society, property tax, water, electricity, anything is the duty of seller to completely pay, and he should be giving you the debt-free or the debt-free clear clear bill, clearance of all the bills from his side. So ask to see the last tax payment receipt of water, society, electric bill, and everything, so that you are clear that there's nothing due. Always take possession letter from the builder or seller at the time of possession. So when you pay the full payment to the seller or builder, take the receipt for full and final payment. Taking the full and final payment receipt is very important, because if it is paid by, bank to bank transfer or check, then it has to be mentioned as a part of your agreement. If it is paid in cash, then you will have to get it in written note by the builder or the seller that you have paid the payment, and you must get the receipt of that payment in full and final. So how to verify the authenticity of the various documents submitted by the seller of the house, particularly with regard to the possibility that the house has not been sold earlier to the third party. This is also one of the major issues. If a builder is absolutely in possession with all the certificates, what is happening is he can always sell that one flat to one person, and then before the registration, he can sell that same flat to other person. So one flat to two different parties. It is actually happening. So regarding authenticity of the documents, again, you have to take help of legal consultant to verify or take search of the property with the registrar of document, revenue official, and NOC you will obtain from the society or the builder that he has not sold the said property which is selling to you to anybody else. I'm repeating, how to verify the authenticity of the various documents submitted by the seller of the house, particularly with regard to the possibility that the house has been sold earlier to anybody else. The first and the foremost is regarding authenticity of the document. Again, you have to take the help of a legal consultant to verify or take search of the property with the registrar of documentation, revenue official, and NOC from the society or from the builder. That is very, very important. So I think I've completed everything. So there are few things which should be focused while you are thinking of buying a flat. So buying a flat is very, very important for anybody and everybody because if you have own flat is always it's a very tedious process, of course, but you must do certain fact checks before buying the house. So there are certain questions which you will be putting to yourself that what is the kind of house you need, the right locality, neighborhood, amenities, lifestyle. Then how big is the house do you need? That is the question which you'd be asking. Whether you are taking this house on your own savings or you are taking a loan, then you will have to do a back calculation that the kind of property what you are actually buying is actually suiting to your pocket or not. Go for extravagancy because that will lead to a lot of complications in the future. Because today you might see the amenities, today you might be see the facilities and the same amenities and the size of the flat will become a bone stuck in your neck. So that is something which is very, very important. So which is the right locality for me? That you will have to, when you're thinking of right locality, you must give a due consideration to the price factor, whether that property is falling under your price or not. What is the convenience in terms of connectivity, location, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of business activity, in terms of availability of resources, and in terms of your uh, you know distance to your workplace. So all these things you will have to give a due on amenities, that what are the kind of amenities are being provided by the builder. But my dear friends, if you don't need that kind of amenities to get into that agreement, because that is very, very important for you to understand, because otherwise you will have to shed huge amount of money unnecessarily going to use those kind of amenities, but you're still paying for that. And at the same time, the maintenance is going to be a part of this, which means school has to be maintained, hobby classes, parking area, everything has to be maintained. Cleaning is required, everything is required. For that, people, cleaners, everybody is required. So amenities are something which you're feeling that you're using those amenities, then you go for that. Otherwise, you must focus on property which is as per your budget. Then you will have to focus on transportation, school, road system, whether it is there or not, nearby or not. But there are certain neighborhoods you must avoid in the initial. They will look good to you, but later on it will be in problem like restaurant, train track, aeroplane, air, hospital, sewage, noisy neighborhood. All these you must avoid, as per my understanding. But if I rest use your wisdom, you will have to decide. So you will have to also see what are the amenities which are to matter to you. If those amenities are actually helping you, then you should go. Otherwise, if they are just an add-on without you using anything, then you must avoid getting that property. Otherwise, you will have to shed off a lot of money. Then there are certain basic requirements which you should check, like ample parking for you or visitor. There is a garbage house or not, or compound wall is there, rainwater harvest. These all are additional things, right? Now, what is affordable for you, me, and everyone? When I see ki this is the flat which is I can easily afford, you will have to first consider your income as a factor. Any doubt, any debt on you, any loan on you, cash available for the down payment. What is the kind of installment you will have to bear in the form of EMI? What are the monthly taxes? What are the interest payable? All these things you will have to see, and then you will have to decide. Then what are going to be the requirements in the flat? how many rooms do you need, what is going to be the location, age of the property. Then very important factor is the resale value. If you don't have a good resale value of that locality, don't invest your money there. Because, in case you want to sell off that flat, if you are not getting that resale value, then it is unnecessary to add financial burden to you. Okay. So when you are thinking of buying the flat from the perspective of taking a loan, you must see how much you have to pay in the form of down payment, monthly installment, interest, taxes, and insurance. Then you will have to consider the budget factor. There are certain do's and don'ts that can get the clarity on time when the funds are expected. Consider the budget for interior works also, because many a time what happens is you get into the deal of 1 crore rupees, but thereafter you see that there are a lot of expenses which you have to incur, like stamp duty registration. I've already told you it varies from 5% to 7%, state to state it varies. And along with that, if you want to get into some kind of renovation work and all this going to add to your cost. So that is the do which you have to focus. What is the don't they say don't invest all your liquid money, keep some spare money with you, because you don't know when any contingency will arise, and then you will be. Then you will have to start searching for the options. How you can search? You can take the help of a proper registered builder. Don't go for a local unprofessional vendor or a broker. And you should go for an online search, like take the help of Google, Magic Bricks, 99 Acre, and all those. And then there also you've got advocates and legal people who will help you buying the flat. Then how will you, once you have the list of options available, then you will have to go for the flat, right? So then you will have to go for a physical, whether the flats are, how the flats are made, what is the walking area, what is the corridor area, what are the amenities, and you will have to see the physical inspection. There should be at least one toilet in the flat, additional toilet in the bedroom. That also you will have to see kitchen, dining room, all those things, and then to if you believe works, then you will have to focus whether it is constructed as per the works or not. Is there any seepage problem or not? All these things you will have to go for cross verification. Then you will have to see the quality and design of the new construction. The following points will help you. You will have to see the reputation of the constructor by going and verifying the constructor's reputation with those people who are already staying in the earlier complexes which he has made. So you must go and see authenticity of the builder by going and going doing a sudden visit, surprise visit in the societies which he has already made. That will give you a different idea of the authenticity of the builder. This will ensure that the builder remains liable for any defect. Because if you catch hold of the builder before you get into the sale agreement, possibly you can actually get most of the things written in the sale deed sale agreement, so that at least for 5 to 7 years, if anything happens to the construction which is already there, he has to bear the complete cost of that. So such kind of points, and the points are very, very important, and they will guide in terms of the dimensions of the bedroom, where you are going to keep so all these things, right? Let us understand what is super built up area, carpet area. Because what happens is many a time people will tell you that the per square feet rate is very high, very economical. Maybe per square feet is very economical, but if the builder is charging on super built up area, then it is going to be a costly deal for you. And of course, we can charge if we amenities to you, we can charge. What is built up area? Built up area is the carpet area plus the thickness of the outer wall and the balcony. What is carpet area? Carpet area is the actual area where you can lay down the carpet, including your toilets. So the carpet area is absolutely inside covered area of the flat. That is called a carpet area, and built up area is the additional area which covers the thickness of the wall as well as your balcony. What is super built up area? Super built up area is basically height, width, as well as the lobby, as well as the lift and the stairs. Complete area falls into built up area. And let me tell you, my dear friends, sometime build is also into your flat, like clubhouse, gym, swimming pool, garden, everything can be included and can be a part of super built up area. That is why you will have to be very, very cautious. Then what are the important documents you will have to see? You will have to cross verify the title clearance, that you will whether the property is absolutely clear, that it has got a transfer without any incumbents is kind of any litigation charge, etc. Title of the property has to be very, very important, and it can be searched, it can be cross verified by going to the advocate. kid, solicitor general, and then you will have to see and cross-verify the last 30 years record transaction of that title. Because what happens is sometimes the same title is sold to two or three parties. Then after the construction for 10 years down the line or 59, somebody will claim that this is my property, then what you will do? So in that case, 30 years of last transaction record has to be cross-verified to check whether the title of the property is clear or not, and to verify the ownership, authenticity, and capacity of the seller. 30 years data has you can collect from revenue record, property tax record, government approval record, or anywhere, right? And then you should verify the title certificate issued by the legal authorities. And then any person who acquires any ownership right through allotment letter, then such person has to verify the ownership record of the society and procedure of the allotment letter. You will have to get the allotment letter. There are certain basic documents which are to be verified before you buy the property. First, owner's name in the property card. The builder, whether his name is there in the property, chain with owner name. If the property is purchased from whom and that fellow has purchased from whom. 3 to 4 chain documentation has to be there. And then mutation entry of the last 30 years, ownership approved IOD certificate, tax payment receipt of all the property tax and other taxes, right? Then you will have to focus on the developer track record. What is the kind of track record of the developer? If the developer is not good, and if he is having every kind of documentation, my dear friends, don't go with that. Even though he is having all kind of documentation, but the track record is not good. Skip people who has got a good track record of construction, record of giving the possession on time. Such kind of things are very, very important. And there are certain terms and conditions of sale agreement which you should be keeping in consideration. Legally, a sale agreement is to be basically a contract between both buyer and the seller. When you get into sale agreement, it is basically a contract that has to be cross-verified. So the terms and conditions of sale agreement, you have to be very, very specified. Like for example, when you give a token to the owner, sometimes what happens is you have given the token to the owner and at the same time you have applied for the loan, right? And maybe you if you don't get the loan or if you get the loan less than the specified amount, you cannot put the balance amount, and in that case you cannot purchase the house. What will happen then your advance which you have given as a token? All those things you have to specify in the sale agreement that in case of any kind of issue of not getting the loan approved from the bank or any kind of legal issue which arises in between the registration from the beginning of the builder, you are entitled to get 100% of the back. You have to take the help of your legal expert who can be a lawyer to get all these points specified as a part of your sale agreement so that in case of the trade of the deed, you should not get into any complication. Then once everything is okay, you have done this thing, then you have to go for stamp duty. Now, what do you mean by stamp duty? Stamp duty is basically a tax which you pay to the government, and along with stamp duty, you will have to pay the registration charges of that registrar office. Both stamp duty and registration count to be 5% of the total amount in case of a lady, 6% in case of male and female, 7% in case of a male as a purchase. So that which means if 1 crore rupees something get into the agreement, so 5 lakh rupees will be the stamp duty plus registration. Stamp duty plus registration. It is not the stamp duty of 5 lakh rupees, it is the combination of both stamp duty and registration charges. When it is payable before the registration, because when you are actually get into the registration, you will have to go for a you actually have to go through all the documentations of the builder and the lawyer will be giving you one paper where he will specify the amount of stamp duty and the registration charges which you have to pay. He will tell you to go to the bank, which could be a PSU bank like State Bank of India or Punjab National Bank, where you can pay the online stamp duty and get the certificate of stamp duty certificate, which will be a part of your registration. So registration will include your Jamabandi mutation and then Fatima and then it will include your suppose if you are buying the property in a area like for example in Himachal, then it will also have to have an agriculture certificate. If it is a non-municipal area, agriculture certificate is not required, but Section 118 permission sometimes is required. Okay, that is something which you will have to cross verify in your state. Okay, so all these documentations are going to be a part of that registration, and then finally go for the registration. Once you go into registration, You go to a registrar with all the documentation. He will see and cross verify everything. He will ask you whether you have paid the amount or not. He will ask the seller whether you have received the amount or not. And he will ask certain question to seller if he feels that anything to be asked and cross verified. Then once he is satisfied with everything, then he will go for signing that particular paper. Once that papers are signed, it will be given to registrar office, and then once the registry is entered into the registrar office, they will give you the hard copy of that registry after 3 to 4 days. So, what are the papers requirement at the time of registration of the document? I have already told you stamp duties, registration charges, and all other original documentation, including the approval from the map. Then once you get into the possession, your builder has you will have to see whether that once you get into the possession letter should be given by the builder, NOC certificate, development agreement, power of attorney, commencement certificate, search report of the builder, advocate receipt, receipt of the payment, letter of allotment, all these basic checklists which you can get anywhere. You will have to cross verify before you take the possession. So CC of the property, the most important documentation. What is CC? CC is basically a document which talks about the title of the ownership of the property. If the person is not having the CC certificate, that any person can later on claim the rights of the property. What is most important is CC. So conveyance certificate will give you the property title. It will help in getting additional FSI and if any make property free and marketable, help in raising for mortgages, any loan you want to take, CC will help you. Now, property buying FAQs, what are all important documents one should check before buying a flat? I will give you one by one. Layout plan, approved building plan, ownership document, allotment letter, commencement certificate, occupation certificate, NOC from the builder of the society. Repeating, layout plan that is approved, approved building plan, ownership documentation, allotment letter, commencement certificate, occupation certificate, NOC certificate from the builder, and all this stuff as a checklist. Then how to verify the authenticity of the various documents submitted by the seller? You will have to verify the authenticity by going to the registrar office or the revenue department, because the registrar office and revenue department has the complete information about the property, about the land with them, so that you can always cross verify. And then finally, once everything is done, registry is done, get it muted. What happens is once you have actually purchased the individual house or a flat, so that mutation of the flat is very important. What do you mean by mutation? Mutation means that registry, once the registry is there with you, you take that registry, go to your local, registration office, which could be a Patwari office or any of that, get it notified there, they get it noted in the register, in the registry. If it is online, they will register it online. And then they will tell you that on a specific date, Tehsildar will and once the Tehsildar comes, then all your registry, which is already there with the Patwari office, will be approved by the Tehsildar. And then after that, the completion of the procedure is done, and you can go to any Lok Mitra Kendra and get your Jamabandi, where you reflect as a new owner of the flat or the building. So I believe this is the complete presentation which I have tried to give you. And what are the basic do's and don'ts? What are the checklists you must see before you get into any agreement, before you think of buying a flat? So I believe that from my side, it is something which is very important for people who are not, you know, all these kind of basic requisites. They are just and in the excitement they get into the agreement without knowing anything. They get into agreement, and then the complete whole get into problem, and it is a lifelong biggest mistake of their life that they realize it later on. So before you buy a house, I always get the complete information, get a Google, talking to the developer, and signing all the documentations as per the whims and fancies of the builder. My dear friend, if you are a first time buyer, you're putting, you're investing your hard earned money, you must cross verify everything. Take the help of your friends, take the help of your senior people, take the help of your people who have got expertise in cross verification, so that you should get into a proper deal, and you should not have to regret it later on. I believe I have told you most of the important things which are very essential for you to get into any sale agreement. So we should thank you very much for all your kind support. Please give a genuine feedback. genuine feedback whether this video understood, so that I'll be able to provide you the right answer for the question you have asked. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day ahead and have a wonderful, yes, धन्यवाद.